Hey guys, MoJK here on my Gumi boosted account. Again, this is not my personal account. This is provided by Gumi to kind of test out some of the latest characters and to see kind of their true potential, I guess. So I'm going to go over some of the newer units in this video. I'm not going to be able to test them all out, but I will be able to test out some of the more unique ones. So the first unit I'm going to talk about real quick is Tamamo, and she's kind of a cute spellcaster, sort of, but really she doesn't really offer anything new. Like, she doesn't have any new jobs at all. You can basically use her as a shrine maiden or a ranger. With this kind of setup, you know, she's kind of like a lesser version of Rada. I'm not really sure if she gets like some crazy buffs in the future or improvements, but for now she's a pretty mediocre character, especially for a base 5-star. So unless you really like the character, which is definitely possible, I wouldn't really suggest pulling hard for her or even building her up necessarily, unless you just kind of have a lot of spare resources and you have nobody else to build. So she can kind of fill a gap on your team, but she doesn't really bring anything new or very exciting. So that's pretty much it for her. And then I'm going to go on and talk about somebody who is very exciting in my opinion, and that's going to be the global exclusive unit, Siegfried. Basically, the closest comparison with this job is a twin blade swordsman. I mean, you can kind of tell he's dual wielding, he's a swordsman, and I don't know, he just kind of has sort of like those type of stats where it's like high agility, you know, pretty decent attack, not the highest HP, but it's also not super squishy either. But he also has a ton of mobility, 5 move and jump 3, and that's with this kind of setup here. So I'm going to go ahead and test out the twin swords abilities. A lot of these do resemble the twin blade swordsman. This destroy jewels is pretty interesting. That's definitely new. This twin flashes is basically like that 2-hit attack that twin blade swordsman have, but this one has light damage attack to it and raises crit for himself. Blade dervish, light slash attack to enemies within target area. So this is around himself, so it's like a spin move, just like a twin blade swordsman again. And then he has that triple hit kind of thing, relentless blades, again light damage and chance to crit, and also inflict stop, which is very important. And it's a really good status ailment because unless they have resistance to it specifically, it's going to be very effective. So pretty cool abilities there, and some of the abilities have some good multipliers as well. Basic twin blade, twin swords, focus energy, regens jewels for the next 3 turns. Pretty cool. I want to see like how much that actually is, but I think it's like 20% or so. Coordinate efforts, physical attack plus 50% for allies within target area. So that's a really nice buff. Last 3 turns, it's a 3x3 cross, really great support ability. So that is something very unique, I would say. 50% buff for allies to attack. That's pretty crazy. Triple threats, 3 hits of light slash attack damage to target enemy, chance of critical, straight trajectory. Okay, so that's kind of like a blade storm, I guess, sort of. Shattering slash, deal physical damage high to target that ignores defense and inflicts daze. So that would be great against high defense enemies, of course, and daze is also very useful. That's more useful than not paralyze, bind, because bind, they can still attack you back, still use their abilities, but daze actually prevents them from doing anything like that. So really cool ability there. Okay, so passive wise, void slash, this is chance of performing a preemptive strike when being attacked. I kind of hesitated whether to go with the guaranteed counter here, cross counter, because everybody knows how useful that is for holy brawlers. But this is actually a very high proc rate. It can go all the way up to 65%, and if you're able to avoid some damage by like killing the enemy first before he can hit you, 65%, that's a nice trade-off. Like, you won't have that guaranteed counter, but you can also kind of use this defensively in some situations. So I think that's the better reactive option there. Finesse is a really great one. Raises evasion and move +1. This is just like a Fate Yomi and so forth. So again, he's kind of an evasion based character. Sort of. I mean, this is like 20. Divine Shelter, this is kind of cool because it's like you get to combine some of the benefits of evasion plus resistance. So, you know, he becomes pretty survivable. He might not have the highest stats or anything, but this combination of passives and abilities helps to keep him alive. So he's pretty unique. I've never tried him, so I'm actually very much looking forward to that. This account does have a couple of weapons or equipment for him too. 4-bolt Geo Blades, really nice stats there. Inflicts physical damage on unit within target area and raises own move and jump for 1 turn. Wow. So that's going to bring him up to 6 move and 4 jump for a turn. That's pretty crazy. So I want to try that out. And also his hat. Really nice stuff. This is actually very much kind of like a Curious Doll in a way, but actually instead of the elements, it's the status element. So this is more like the what is that? It's kind of like a bracelet or something. It's like some kind of earrings. I think that's what it is. Like one of those accessories that you get very early in the game. I forgot what it is. Sorry, guys. But yeah, it's kind of like a better version of that. So that's kind of cool. And it also gives him the Siegfried only ability, which is a really nice buff, I believe. So I'm going to have to look into that. I looked it up. I just can't remember right now. So ability setup wise, I already went over this. So yeah, he doesn't really have any like crazy offensive stuff per se, but the fact that he's able to, that's what it was. This is a very strong self buff to attack. So couple that with his physical attack plus 50 buff, he has a lot of ways to boost his attack. He doesn't necessarily need like an overdrive. So again, really looking forward to trying him out. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and look at Eizan, and I'm gonna try him out as well. Blacksmith is kind of like an interesting job. There's a lot of support abilities. There's a couple of attack abilities, but it seems more kind of support based, sort of. So he is able to attack, and his attack is based off of strike. It's not a slash or anything like that. So there's a couple ways to build him, I think. I'm going to try out smithing, of course, because that's new. With Heart and Soul is a really, really nice reactive. Unless you're facing water enemies, maybe. So on top of a guaranteed counter, it is a fire physical counter, so keep that in mind. On top of the guaranteed counter, it also has a chance of lowering enemies' attack for 3 turns. So it's like a cross counter plus, like a debuff. So it's really nice. I think that's going to be the best option for him. Iron Body, just a lot of HP. This comes from his Holy Brawler job, of course. And then Clear the Mind. This is another way to make him a little bit tankier. Raises his fire res and light res and max HP. Although the HP isn't that much. So if you're not up against these kinds of enemies, you might want to consider something else. Like, I wouldn't go with Single Blade because it actually brings his agility down too low. His attack does go high, so, you know, he could be a powerhouse there. But, I don't know. This could be viable, actually, if you kind of stand him in the middle of a crowd and you're using him more to counter the enemies. That could work because of the high attack. But I don't really want to go with the low agility anymore. What I'd rather go with here is Strike Mastery +2. So this is going to raise or change the physical attack modifier for strike attacks. And because his attacks are strike based, that could be a good passive for you. So yeah, I'm actually going to go with Strike Mastery for this demonstration because who cares about the res and the HP right now for the purposes of demonstrating. So I don't really see any gear on this account or anything that I can really use that's specific to him. So I'll just kind of leave it off. We'll just test him out stock. And then finally we have Scheherazade. So again, no real new jobs, but she is a very capable sage. She's kind of like the more magic defense heavy version of Nika. So because, you know, sages have naturally high magic defense. So basically, this is a setup that you could possibly run. Sorcery, of course, because sage is a good job now. They much improved it. Basic dancing, just, you know, kind of for these map-wide debuffs that, I mean, you don't necessarily need basic sorcery because that's like the same stuff except smaller scope and a little bit faster cast time. But I don't think the cast time is that much of a worry anymore, so maybe this is a good option. Counter magic, kind of self-explanatory. Divine Shelter, so she's going to be pretty survivable. Her HP is not that bad either. And then magic up +2 just for some extra damage. But we're not going to really look at her because none of her jobs are new. So let's go ahead and try out Eizan and Siegfried because I'm actually really curious and very much looking forward to trying them out. Okay, so let's go to oops. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to go into like those random golem things or whatever. Golem games, advanced. So, alright, so let's try out those two characters. And actually, there's not a whole lot to try out on Eizan because he only has a couple of attacks. So, maybe, hopefully this works out. I don't really know. Probably need a couple rounds because it is two characters. And there's not too many enemies on this map. Okay, so obviously Siegfried's going to go first with his 157 agility or whatever. So his regular attack would do 675, not bad. So he starts out with 78 joules at low. So he actually, instead of like your typical 25% for a lot of melee units, he starts out with 30% joules, which is interesting. It's like they just kind of like wanted to make him just that much better than your typical classes. So twin flashes. So that's okay. So this is a melee attack. I wonder, is this a single target or is this like all around him? Maybe I should wait until I get some other enemies around him. Okay, I'm gonna actually do this. I'm gonna get some joules because I don't want to waste that attack or misuse it and not demonstrate it properly. Okay, so smithing, again, a lot of support stuff, raises physical defense, attack, cancels all buffs and debuffs, like that, okay? And these buffs on the main job are stackable. Seething Tempered Strike, so this is really like his only attack on his main job. So 50 joules. Oh yeah, it's a 3x3 square in front of him. So that's actually pretty nice. I love these kinds of abilities. It's really easy to use. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a nice AoE actually. I can see why it's 50 joules. Alright, so let's see if twin flashes. Oh no, it is only single target, so I kind of saved it for no reason. Alright, so let's try this. Twin flashes. Seems really strong. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a twin blade swordsman type of ability. And of course it did extra damage against the dark enemy, Zahar. Okay, there's some evasion right there. If you haven't used a lot of evasion characters before, you can always see that they're going to evade because they seem to kind of like notice the enemy first or like kind of look their way before, and then you know that they're going to evade. Alright, so Blade Dervish. Okay, so this is a nice spin move. So this is actually better than the Twin Blade Swordsman one because that one's more like a cross shape, but this is everywhere around, just like a roundhouse or like a martial artist or a holy brawler even. So that's pretty cool. Nice. I mean, it's not leaps and bounds better than a Twin Blade Swordsman, but it's actually just good enough to make it very strong because Twin Blade Swordsman already is already a good job. Smithing. Okay, so let's go to the basic smithing here. Some more buffs here: missile attack, pierce attack, strike attack, slash attack, and then meteoric iron fusion. So this is a 1 square line, but I'm gonna need some more joules to use that. So yeah. Eizan's pretty cool too, although I don't think he's like a must-have. What else can I do before this round ends? So I did Blade Dervish. Let's try Relentless Blades. So this is the triple combo. 70% chance to stop. Yeah. Very similar to Twin Blade Swordsman. It's like similar, but then just like that much better, like a notch upgraded. And I would say it's even more upgraded than like a Twin Blade Swordsman Plus, because instead of having like one upgraded ability, they're all kind of upgraded across the board. So he's clearly designed to be like pretty superior and top tier, I would say. Alright, so let's try this again. This time, basic twin sword. Okay, so let's see how many joules I could regen here. Okay, so it costs 10. Now let's see how many he gets per turn. Alright, so this time he's going to use basic smithing. So one line like that. Yeah, pretty cool. Nothing unexpected or spectacular, but you know, all he really needs is that one attack from the main job, because it's so great, that big square in front of him. He doesn't really need anything else, although it is costly with the jewels, so that's one thing. Alright, so oh wow, okay, I just noticed his jewel count went way up. What was that, like 40 or something, or almost 40? That's pretty crazy. And it lasts for 3 turns too. Wow, okay. So you cast that and you're just like infinite jewels for the next few turns. That's pretty crazy. Okay. And the coordinate efforts, yes, it does work on himself as well, so he could really buff himself up. And of course, allies around him. Okay, this guy, I'm starting to see now that he's pretty sick. Okay, so 3 hits of light slash a target enemy, straight trajectory. Okay, so this is like, okay, but single target. Yeah, it's like a blade storm. Okay, again, everything is just a little bit upgraded, but that buff, the jewel regen, the buff support ability, that is pretty crazy. I don't know, I think I might have to really go hard for this guy, especially if he's like very limited time and stuff like that. I don't want to miss out on him. All right, so let's see. Last one, Shattering Slash. High damage, ignores defense, inflicts daze. Okay, so 50% chance to daze. Again, the damage doesn't always look that impressive with these ignored defense ones, because they're designed to go through defense, so it doesn't necessarily need the highest multiplier. So there are going to be more damaging options in most cases, but then when it's a high defense character like a tank or something, that's going to do more damage. All right, so that was all the regular abilities. We can finally go on. God, this jewel count is insane. I have like infinite jewels. Okay, so now I can do jumping shift, raise his own move and jump for 1 turn. Physical damage. Okay, so it's goes 3 squares in 4 directions. So not the best attack, but what's great about it, of course, is that crazy mobility that he gets for a turn. So if you need to like quickly close the distance while not wasting a turn, and you still want to get an attack in, that could be very useful. All right, so this works out really well. Finally, we're going to use the Winds of Favor slash attack. I think this was like 50. So he's going to have like more evasion and like 50 slash attack, and he's going to be able to do like a ton of damage. So let's see. All right, so regular attack, okay, 1084. Relentless Blades, 2133. Yeah, okay, so triple threats, I think. No, I'm sorry, Relentless Blades and triple threats does like the same amount. So I'm gonna go with Relentless Blades here. Okay, so I am actually pretty convinced now, because yeah, this character is pretty darn upgraded. So I'm gonna have to pull from on my main account now. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I think this video ran a little bit long. Hopefully I'll be able to upload it okay, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is like a Twin Blade Swordsman plus job. It's pretty crazy. So I think he's kind of like ahead of his time and ahead of the meta right now, so I think he's going to be very useful. Maybe not quite on the level of like a Gilgamesh or something like that, but I think he's going to be like, he's going to have a really long, bright future ahead of him. So definitely check him out. All right, see you guys next time. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll probably have a pull video at some point. Peace.